want it. My friends, I've been waiting for this for a good long while now. We have a new taste of the sequel to Breath of the Wild. We still don't have a full idea of what the game is and what its mechanics are and such. We don't have a title, but we do have some nice new I mean, they probably did this just for us because they know we like to obsess over stuff and do by all these like frame by frame analysis and stuff and like give us a little taste of the new abilities without telling us what they are so that we have to spend just like months and months just laboring over what it could mean. But you know, it is fun. So with the initial reveal trailer, I did like a frame by frame kind of analysis thing. I'm never as good at like the analysis stuff as most people are. I just kind of go through and look at stuff and say what I think about the stuff. I'm not as like deep and thorough and researched as most people. And I'm not gonna go like frame by frame like I did the first time. I will go clip by clip though. I'm just not gonna like actively do it as I'm narrating it. I'm just gonna kind of tell you what I see in the trailer. And we will see what there is to look at, because honestly, there's a whole lot to look at in this trailer, even though it's very short. So let's get started. So it kind of picks up where the other trailer left off with, you know, something's crumbling and some stuff happens. There's some goopy goop. Ganondorf is there, and Link seems to have some weird stuff going on with his arm. And it's really funny because we will see later in the trailer that there does seem to be something up with his arm. And multiple people that I know kind of predicted that he would have a weird arm and that would be where his weird powers were. And it seems to be they were pretty much correct. But we'll look at that later. Yeah, we see all the weird stuff, gets his arm. I do not know what the relation between his arm is and the arm that we see that's like holding Ganondorf in place in the first trailer. In the first trailer, we saw the ground giving way and Zelda kind of fallen into a hole. And now we see, officially, Zelda has fallen into the hole. We don't know where she goes or if Link falls into the hole too. That's what's weird, is because then we see this glowing light kind of comes through in the darkness, and then Link is kind of like falling through the sky. Did they both fall in the hole? Maybe they both fell in. So my theory currently is that perhaps Ganondorf or some sort of force has brought them through time. That's my theory about what's going on here. This might even be a very early, maybe even before the creation of Hyrule. I guess probably not, because we see Hyrule Castle, but it could just be a lot earlier, or maybe in the future. Who really knows, but that could be one of the reasons why it's the same Hyrule, but it's different. You know, there's different stuff about it. Because it feels like they go through a portal. That's what it feels like that light is. They're a portal to Hyrule. Well, they already live in Hyrule, so naturally it would be a new version of Hyrule. Why is everything different? They went through time. And so back to this shot where falling through the clouds, I think this image, this clip of Link falling through the clouds, it's very, very striking. The colors are gorgeous. He seems to be very high up in the air, which is funny because he's about to fall down onto a raised island. It looks like a raised island in the sky, which means he's very big. Although you could say that there's a good chance this does not take place immediately after the light flashy or whatever, because he's wearing different clothes. And look at the clothes. His clothes look super old-fashioned. That's another reason I think this might take place a long time ago. His hair is down throughout the whole entire thing. He's got his big floppy hair all over the place. But mainly just this clip is just beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how you're gonna get that high. Maybe it's a warp thing. Is it going to have skydiving? I mean, like, obviously, the first thing that this says is Skyward Sword style, like skydiving, where your arms and your legs are out and you're controlling where you go and kind of control how you fall. That's what it makes me think of when I see it. But of course, in other parts of the trailer, we see he has his sailcloth. So who really knows? But golly, this shot is incredible. And then it leads into another great shot. Again, he's got his sailcloth here, and he's just kind of sailing through the sky towards some floating islands. And this is awesome. This is something like, I don't know if you saw my prediction video, my predictions for all of 2021. I kind of predicted what the theme of this game would be, and my prediction was the same thing. And of course, it wasn't just a stab in the dark. I was going off of the original trailer. We saw Hyrule Castle kind of moving up a little bit. So I thought, okay, maybe it goes up into the sky, but maybe not just Hyrule Castle. Maybe there are floating islands all around Hyrule. And I was completely right. that's it. I mean, I was also trying to think of what are some other things that would make Hyrule more interesting is if you add more Hyrule to it. I also said there'd be caves. I don't know if there's gonna be caves. I don't know what's gonna be left behind on the bottom. Are these just extra, are these new islands that weren't there before? Or are they just chunks that were there and they were raised up from there? Who knows, but just the imagery. The image of Link flying through the sky toward a bunch of raised islands, it's beautiful. It's really, really wonderful. It's a more realized and more interesting and more beautiful version of what we got in Skyward Sword, which is great because that whole thing, that whole aesthetic was really, really incredible. I don't know if we'll actually be able to fly on anything in this one. Probably not. Probably be a little too overpowered, but we'll have to see. Actually, at the end of this shot here off on the right, we can see some sort of weird structure that seems to be, it could just be that it's closer to Link, but when you look at those other trees and how small they are on the other island, it seems like it's just very large. And this compared with some other parts in the video, in the trailer, it does seem that these are new islands, that something happens to them between now and Breath of the Wild, or you know what I mean? If it is back in time or the future or whatever, it just seems that they're not just the things that we are used to, except up in the sky. I could be wrong, but there's a good number of new looking things here. Another just stunningly beautiful shot of Link just running somewhere, and you can just see a bunch of, I mean, just, oh gosh, the landscape was already so beautiful. It's already such a beautiful game to run through, but stuff in the sky, I always love it. Very, very big objects that you get to look at from super far away. I've always loved that in games. And so now, in addition to the beautiful landscape, you get these floating islands up in the sky, I presume just kind of all the time. And that's so good. It's so, I just love this. Oh. Then we get a very brief glimpse of some kind of wacky creature. I don't know if this is a good guy or a bad guy. I'm kind of thinking good guy. Like right at the end of the clip, you can see some kind of like hands on the bottom, but there's just it's some sort of weird robotic thing, which again makes me think either the distant past or the distant future, because it's not like a guardian. It's not all old and like run down or anything. This thing looks like it belongs in the present. There's a weird little symbol on the bottom. I don't know what that means. It kind of looks like a broom. Is it a broom? Probably not a broom, but we'll see. Then something very fun and exciting. It's just a fun idea for a sequel. It's an enemy base, but it's on top of a moving stone talus. That's just a terrific idea I never thought of, and yet it makes all the sense in the world. How do you bring one of those down? A lot of bomb arrows or something? Who knows? Also, these bokoblins, whatever, they seem to have very, very big, prominent horns on their heads this time. It's kind of like the one that you get on a moblin, except it's on these guys now. I don't know what that's about. Then we get another shot of the arm, presumably the arm arming itself onto Link, who is now armed with the arm, and that is, of course, suggesting that that is why Link has whatever powers he has. In the very next shot, we see that he is using one of these powers on a giant spiky ball. And this is interesting because at first, and I think they planned it this way, because at first it looks like he's just using magnesis. He freezes the ball, it's made of metal, okay, sure. Or stasis, because he freezes it, you know, like either one of those. But instead, we then see the ball roll back up the hill, and there's kind of like a ghosting thing, and everything goes black and white. That makes me think it's time manipulation. That makes me think that he's making it run backwards from the way that it went. Which would be interesting. Obviously, there'd probably be a whole lot of applications for something like that. We also have to wonder, are these gonna act like runes? They're just gonna be like the same kind of powers, but now we get some new ones, or are they all new ones? I mean, I assume it's basically instead of the Sheikah Slate, you got the weird arm thing, but then that raises questions about, do you have the Sheikah Slate for your map and stuff? Who knows? I don't know. But moving on, in the next shot, he's got some sort of fire blasty. He's fighting something. I can't even tell what that thing is. Some sort of nasty creature hanging down from the ceiling, but he's blasting fire at it, and he's doing so with his left hand, which instead of the right one with the, you know, with the hand on it or whatever, which makes me think that that's a weapon of some sort and not just, you know, a basic power. And I do like that it's in a cave. Not a whole lot of caves in Breath of the Wild, and that's something that I'm really, really gunning for, is more underground stuff, more cave stuff. And here he is fighting a weird gloopy-gloop monster hanging from the top of the ceiling in a cave. That's pretty good. Then we get a very interesting thing where a drop of water goes up toward a floating platform, and then Link himself kind of travels through it and kind of just blorps himself up onto the top of the island. I presume that this is a form of fast travel, as you know, you unlock a warp thing that lets you go up to the top. But it also makes me wonder if there's some sort of weird, like, the hand makes me think that he has integrated himself with this Sheikah technology / magic, one and the same, who knows? And that's why he's able to travel through the drops, because of course we saw the drops in the first game. That's how you upgrade your Sheikah slate with new maps and stuff. Information travels through these drops, and now Link can himself. And at the end of this clip, we see just a little building. It doesn't look really massive. Who knows? Maybe it could be a shrine or something. We see a lot of what looks like a lot of these similar buildings out on the rest of the islands. So who knows what kind of thing that is? Is this it could be a town for all we know. Who knows? And then we get what we can assume is a continuation of the first trailer, where we see Hyrule Castle kind of moving upward. This time we can see the whole thing moving. Parts of it are breaking off, and there's a bunch of nasty, evil goop on the bottom of it, pushing it up into the air. And then we end on a shot with it, very similar to the one that we saw in the first trailer, where it was about to rise up, but now we get it fully risen up into the air, surrounded by goop. We don't see anything else risen up into the air. It is possible that this is before all of that raises up. If it, oh gosh, there's just so many theories you could go off of. If all of this is the future, it could be that this happens in the present, you get thrown into the future, and in that future, all of these different platforms have risen up into the air or something like that. I don't really know, but once the castle gets up into the air, it seems pretty content, chilling there. just kind of chilling there and being done. It's like, all right, I just wanted it to be up in the air. That's all I really wanted. It could be that the castle itself was sealing Ganondorf's power or something, but if that happened, then you'd think that there'd be more than just some swirly down there. You'd think something would bust out and it would be like, ha ha ha, I'm free. It's anyone's guess at this point. And then, man, it really makes us hang on that last clip, that last bit, just for a long time. Oh, it's incredibly exciting though. And then in the next clip, you'll see that there's actually a mistake, an error that they made. It says 2022, but we all know the game has to come out this year because I want it so bad. So someone's gonna get fired for this one. They're gonna be like, oops, who put 2022? It's obviously coming out in 2021. No, 2022. Gotta wait a little bit longer. At least we got a solid year though. At least we know that at least most likely we won't get to next year, go, where is it? Oh, well, I guess maybe 2023. Will it be late 2022, early 2022? Oh, I sure hope early 2022. But we'll see. So that is Breath of the Wild 2, a game that you are mildly excited to play, as with me, just a little tiny bit. Give me your theories. Head on down to the comments and just go nuts with the speculation. Just tear this thing. I mean, I'm sure people already are, but tear this thing apart. Give us all the wild theories you can possibly think of. I very much look forward to reading whatever you can come up with. You have a wonderful day, and just see you next year, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they'll have a direct in September, and we'll get more info there. I really hope we don't have to wait until next year to get the full reveal. Please, no. I can't handle it anymore. This is only gonna last me so long. Anyway, have a good day. Goodbye.